Okay, welcome to my next episode. This is going to be a pretty quick one. I'm going to show you how to make your own wet palette. I love using a wet palette. It's great because you can take two paints, for example, and just get different shades in between using your wet palette. And I have one that I bought off of Amazon that I'll post a link below if you're interested. But really the only difference between that one and the one I'm going to show you here is the container itself. The one that I bought, it's just not as deep. And even the paper that it came with, I also replaced with parchment paper. But it's really easy to make. I'm just starting out with just a Tupperware container. I mean, you can buy one at the local store or whatever, but I'm going to take a foam insert. This is one that just came with one of my miniature packs that I ordered to store my miniatures. You can use something like that, or you can even use some sponge rags from your local store. I'm going to take that foam insert, and then I'm just going to cut it to fit into the container. So easy way to do it, just flip your container upside down and then just cut it to fit. And then once you get that to fit, then I'm also going to take a paper towel, and this is going to help keep the foam moist and wet without drying up so much. So I'm just going to, again, cut this to fit, and this I want to make sure it goes all the way to the edges. And then last, I'm going to take some parchment paper. Don't use wax paper, use parchment paper. I'm going to cut a square of that, make sure it fits. And this I'm not going to cut all the way up to the edges. And the reason why is so then you can use a paper towel if you want to brush off some of the excess paint off. Or you can just use a separate paper towel. It's up to you. So now I'm going to get the sponge or the foam, and I'm just going to rinse under water and just wring it out so it's pretty damp. And then once that's done, I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to add just a little bit of extra water in there. You don't want it to the point where the paper towel is going to be floating in there, but just, a good amount. I'm going to put the towel in there and just make sure it soaks up all the way to the edges so it's nice and damp. I might pour in just a little bit more water in here just to make sure these edges are damp. So I'm going to get all of the bubbles out of the paper towel. Then you're going to take your parchment paper. You're going to let that water just kind of soak through a little bit. I'm just going to kind of pull out all the bubbles out of the parchment paper. Once that side is done, then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. So flip the parchment paper over and do the same thing. Just kind of squeeze the bubbles out. If you want, you can take just a little piece of paper towel, just kind of use that to squeegee out some of those bubbles. But that's it. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe below. And thanks again for watching. Happy painting.